Hey guys, I'm April from Giggle Glitter Graphics, and welcome to this week's Friday freebie. This is part 5 of the Frostbound Forest Storycraft Kit. This is an entirely free 8-part series that I'm sending out to my email list. Members should get this email about noon Eastern today, but if you're not a member, you can sign up by using the link in the description down below and have parts 1 through 5 all sent to you immediately. This is a limited time freebie, so it will only be available until March 14th of 2025, and then after that, it will be for sale in my Etsy shop. The Frostbound Forest Storycraft Kit is an 8-part series that combines paper crafting with storytelling. Each part has a paper crafting project and a piece of a story that you put into a journal. When everything is complete, it will all fit inside of a decorative box. So let's get started on part 5. There are 9 pages in this part, and you're going to print 6 of them on cardstock. Remember that everything is labeled right on the page, whether it should be printed in cardstock or paper. Today we have 2 pages that need to have paper on them, and one of them is going to have a backer paper on it. So those are our other 3 pages. The first page is the page with this map on it, and this is the one that you're going to print the backer paper on because we're going to roll this up and you're going to see the entire back of it. The other page is this envelope here. You should also print this on paper. Supplies are simple again today. I am using scissors, a bone folder, Beacon Fabri-Tac. You can use any liquid glue with a point on it, and a variety of distress inks. I used vintage photo, weathered wood, iced spruce, and pumice stone. The distress inks are not mandatory. I just like the finished look that it gives to all of the pieces. Today we are building a backpack and filling it full of goodies. So I'm going to move all of the pieces that were labeled journal off to the side. Now there are some fussier cuts in this, so just take your time to cut them out. When you have something like this where it's more detailed, these crystals, you can cut out part of it and then cut out part of the other one and kind of sandwich them back to back, and then finish your cut all at one time. Glue them and then finish the rest of the cut with your scissors, and that should put you pretty even on both sides. You can also opt to just leave a white edge around when you cut if that's easier for you. It's just down to your personal preference. So I'm going to place all of these fussy cuts off to the side, and we're going to start with building the backpack. Pictures here, those are actually for the journal. And we're going to keep our map and this little band here, and here are our backpack panels, and there's a bunch of little straps as well. Lots of little things today. The first thing we want to do is glue the main panels back to back. So you're going to have 2 shorter panels and then 2 taller panels, and we want to glue these so that the backs are together. So I am just going to go all the way around the edges with my glue. You can use a glue stick for this. I just like the liquid glue because I have that chance to reposition things before it dries. I like to be able to slide the pieces around a little bit. Place that right on top and line everything up. And if you get a little white edge sticking out and things aren't quite even, you can trim it off after you've glued them together and your glue is dry. Or you can hit those edges with a little distress ink if you have it, and that should hide things. I've used vintage photo on these pieces here. I'm just going to use my bone folder. You can use a ruler or something like that. I just like to smush the glue around inside and make sure everything is laying nice and flat. I'm going to repeat that for the second panel. Right around the edges. And I'm going to place that right on top and get those lined up nice and neat, or as neatly as I can. Again, I can come back and make adjustments if I need to later. And then we've got this little pocket here. We're going to take the shorter piece, flip it over, and our pocket is going to go on right here. And we're going to just glue right around the edges like so, not this top kind of scoopy point. We want to be able to put something inside the pocket. So just a little glue around the edge, and then pop that right on top. Next, we are going to glue all of the straps together. So we've got this longer strap with the 3 buttons on it, Again, we're going to glue these back to back. This is going to make sure that it's finished on both sides because this is going to be our fastener, and we want to be able to lift this up and have it be finished on both sides. Make sure it's glued really well. And then we have straps for the back of the backpack. Now, technically you could leave these if you don't want to cut them all out. You can leave them as singles, but I wanted them to be nice and thick. I just like the feel of it, and whenever I attach mine, I'm going to just attach them at the top and the bottom. So if you wanted, you could slide something in there. There is not anything that's going to slide in there, but I like to leave room for creativity later. So just glue those back to back. Repeat it for the second one. And there's all of our straps. Once you have all of these pieces glued, we're going to move on to building kind of a box or pocket for the inside of our backpack. So we have this panel here, and you're going to want to fold it along all of these lines here on all. You can kind of see them marked out, and then there's 2 tabs here at the bottom. Once you get everything creased, we're going to flip it over. And if you ignore my stripe here, I reused a piece of cardstock after I test printed something. But I did put a little distress ink across the back of this so we didn't have to print the back. I put some vintage photo back here so when the box is made, it looks a little more finished. So we've got everything creased. I'm going to tilt this up and push these tabs in. And then I'm going to put a little glue here and here. These are going to stick to the tabs. I'm just going to lift straight up and attach my tab. Same thing on the other side, attach the tab. Now you want to make sure that everything is meeting up kind of square, nice corners here. And give those a good press. Next, I'm going to go to this long side. I'm going to press this down. I'm going to put a little glue right here in the corner. And then I'm going to bring that small bottom flap to meet it and press that corner together. And again, we want to make sure everything is meeting up nice and square. This edge should be flush. The edge of this tab should be flush with the edge here because we are making a box. Now come unglued. And then once you get all of those pieces together, we're simply going to fold this large panel over and stick it to these 2 tabs. And again, you'll want to make sure everything is nice and square. That looks pretty good. I'm going to use my bone folder. You can also use your scissors or a ruler just to kind of push in there and make sure that everything is making good contact. And now we have a little box pocket. For our next step, we're going to go back to this long panel, and you're going to see some lines here. They're going to be on both sides. We've got a couple of lines, and you want to fold on those creases. Now I'm going to grab my scoreboard and do it with this, but you can do this by hand as well. I'm just going to give that a crease because this is a little thicker. Scoreboard's going to help, but it's not mandatory. And then we're just going to fold along those 2 lines. It's easier, I think, to do this fold before we really start assembling, adding the box and everything, so that we can get these kind of firmed up. You should have something that looks like this. Next, let's grab that box, and we're going to glue where it says glue box here. So just cover one of the surfaces, it doesn't matter which one, of the box with glue. And then you want this to be as close to the bottom of the backpack as you can and centered. Once you have that on, you can put glue on the other side, like so. And then we're going to grab our short panel and place it the same way, just right on top. and then kind of eyeball it and make sure it's as close to the bottom as possible without sticking out. And then try to get your top and your bottom lined up as best you can. And now you should have something that looks like this. It's the beginnings of a backpack. I'm going to go ahead and start adding the straps. So let's start with the thinner strap with the 3 buttons on it. And I'm just going to pull this down, and this strap is going to attach right in the middle of the flap so that it hangs all the way down here. So I'm just going to run a bead of glue right down the middle and press this into place. I've got it lined up right at the top of the flap, and I'm going to try to make it straight. There we go. Like so. And then we have this little piece here. This is going to be our closure. We want to be able to slide the end of this right into this piece here. Now it is a little small, so you're going to want to just put a little dab of glue on either of the short ends. Don't overdo it. Just a tiny little bit of glue, and then I've got some in the middle, so I'm going to wipe that off. And then I'm going to turn this, and I'm going to kind of eyeball where it's going to go. So I want this to close like so, and I'm just going to tap that on right there, and I'm going to grab one of my distress ink things, and I'm just going to sit a little weight on there so that I can let go and it will dry properly. So it's a little delicate, but that is going to be the closure, being able to slide that leather strap right in there. So that's nice and dry, and now I can open and close my backpack. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this over and add the straps to the back side. So we have 2 straps, and then again 2 little fasteners. This one we aren't going to make go in and out. You can obviously if you want to, but I'm just going to glue everything down. So let's start with the straps. And I'm going to do, they're the same on both sides, and I just did that for the thickness of it. And just in case somebody does want to make them go up and down for whatever reason, you have that finished back side. So I'm just going to tack these down on the top and bottom. Like so. Try to put them evenly. And then you can kind of place these anywhere that you like. I'm going to place mine right about, if I can get a hold of it, my fingers are a little cold today, right about here. And then I'm not sure which way. My cut was just a little bit off, so I'm going to go that way. You probably can't see much of a difference, but I can see the difference, so it matters to me. I'm just going to go right over that center, put the button over the hole, and same thing on this side. Now we've got some straps on the back of our backpack. Now that the backpack is ready to be filled, let's go ahead and look at all of the pieces that we have left over for everything that was marked backpack. So you have a lot of these fussy cuts. They're going to be double-sided. So you're just going to take and cut them out and glue them back to back, whichever way works best for you. But this way they are finished on both sides. I'm going to repeat that for this compass piece, the crystals, and the little rations can. And once all of these are together, I'm going to set them to the side to dry. And we're going to come back to the compass in a little bit. And let's grab this little notebook cover. This will look familiar from last week. This is a miniature version of our research notebook. We're of course going to put it in the backpack and take it with us. And then a miniature version of some of the notes that we also had last week. So you're going to grab this little paper strip, fold each of these in, and then fold the whole thing in half so you get this accordion shape. And then we're going to glue this right in. So we're going to put a little glue between these two center pages just so that they behave themselves. And then fold this down. So we've got this kind of a thing. And then here's our cover. It's just out of cardstock. It's folded in half. I did put a generous amount of distress ink around the inside edge, just in case some of that white showed through. And then we're going to just glue this right inside. So I'm going to fold this up, put it in, get some glue on it. Go ahead and kind of smush it in there and then do the same thing on the other side. So we're just building a cute little mini book, miniature version of last week's research notes. And then I'm just going to close it up and try to even that out all as best I can. So now we have this little guy. I'm going to slide things around a little so they open and close better. And that's pretty good. So now we have our tiny book done, and all we have left is the map. So we have this strip here. We're going to fold this in half and glue it together. Just stick some glue in there. Fold this right in half. And then we have the side with this embellishment on it and the dark block. We're going to curl this. So use your finger and just kind of curl it. You want to curve it until you can get this to overlap over that dark block, like so. So it's going to be a little tube. And then I'm just going to put some glue on here. We're going to want to press that together to glue it into a little ring. This is going to hold our map when it's rolled up. So we've got that. You want to make sure that is good and dry before you try to stick the map in. Have an embellishment. And then here is our map for our journey. And I'm just going to gently roll this up so that it's a little smaller than my holder that I just made. And then I'm just going to slip that right inside and let it expand. So now we have our rolled up map. And I'm going to grab my backpack. And let's start putting some things inside. So the map is just going to tuck right in there. There we go, all the way in. It should poke out just a little bit. That is by design. And we have our water bottle and our crystal. All of these things are mentioned in the story, which we'll get to. A little thing of rations, our miniature research notes book, and then our compass is going to go in the front pocket, and this is going to fold right in half so that it will open and close. And then we have a compass, and this is going to slide right into the front pocket. And put the strap down, and there we have our backpack. All right, now we're ready to move on to the journal portion and add on to our story. So I'll put my backpack to the side, and let's open the journal to the next empty page, which is right here. Grab my little dragon, let him hold the page down for us so you can see. And we have a few things here. So first, we have these little picture cards. And there are 4 of these. All you're going to do is fold these picture cards right in half and glue them. Each one is a picture with a little commentary on the back. So go ahead and do those first. So we'll have these. And I already did the other ones ahead of time. So I'm just going to put these to the side. And now let's do the envelope. So this envelope came with a little liner. I had room on the page for the liner, and I figured I'd save you all some ink. We're going to go put this right side up, flip it so the tab is up, and then you can line the inside of your envelope with this little liner piece. So when we fold it up, it will be finished on the inside. This is optional. If you don't want to futz with it and you don't mind it being white, or you'd rather just stick some distress ink on it or something like that, be my guest. I encourage creativity. And I did use the iced spruce on this, on the envelope. So there is my liner all lined up. Now for the envelope, you're going to want to fold these two tabs in. The bottom will be folded up. There is a line across here. So not this line here, but this line right here. You want to fold this up here and glue to the tabs. So I'm just going to put the little glue on each tab. Like so. And then because we've put the liner in, I need to refold, but there is another line right here. Again, you might see a little bit of a secondary line. It is this first line that you want. So right like this. So that you have this envelope. Now, there's a couple of different ways to handle attaching this to the page. Tilt my dragon out of the way, and this is going to be the journaling piece for the left-hand page. It's going to be centered on here, and you can either take the tab of this envelope and stick it right underneath and then glue the whole thing down to turn this into a flip, like so, or we can glue this down as just two sides and get a paper clip. And so I'm going to show you what that would look like. So I'm just going to glue two sides, the bottom and the right. And I'm going to center this up. And then you could either just kind of hook this in on its own, kind of freestyling. That would work. Or you can grab a paper clip. Now this one is a little on the larger size, but there we go. And that's going to hold that in, and then this whole piece will come out instead of being trapped underneath here. So those are your two options. Glue here and here to leave kind of a little lift up pocket, and then you can slide this in and paper clip it, or even just put it on top and paper clip it. But that gives you access to paper clip. I guess a third option would be if you also glued this other side and just paper clipped it at the top. So let me just sneak a little glue under there. And then our paper clip can go right in at the top. That way we're not encroaching on the page behind it. And then you can slide the envelope under that paper clip. So paper clip is optional. You can trap the flap of the envelope underneath this edge so that it turns it into a flip. Or if you have a paper clip on hand, you can either do the two sides or the three sides method to attach this little envelope to the page. So we're going to fill this with our photographs. We've got our 4 little photos here. And these are all going to go right inside of our envelope, like so. And I'm going to clip that back in. And then let's move over to our next page. Move my weight over. And we have this piece here and a tab left. So I'm going to fold this. I used the weathered wood. Yes, I used weathered wood on the edges of this. We're going to accordion this like so. So fold here and then fold this in half. And then I'm going to fold these two little skinny panels together so that we're just making a flip. So now we have something that looks like this. And I'm going to glue this right down to the page. right in the center, like so. And then let's grab that tab, and the tab is going to go right over this little edge. Make sure you have glue on both sides. Oops, come back. And I'm just going to pinch this over the edge. There's writing on the opposite side, but I tried to position it so that this tab would fit on around the text. So be aware of that text when you attach this tab. And then I'm going to give that one more little press down. And there are our journal pages for today. Our little paper clip envelope or a flip envelope, whichever way you decide to do it. Well, I hope you've enjoyed part 5 of the Frostbound Forest. Part 6 will be next week on next Friday. Please remember, like, subscribe, hit the little notification bell so that you can be alerted when there are new videos, both on Fridays, and sometimes I post a little something extra during the week every once in a great while. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.